2, Episode 1, recorded Friday, 8th of January, 2021. My name is Simeon.
Hey, it's Ben.
So, thought we'd start off this episode with a bit of a shout out to our boy Elon Musk. Pretty impressive today. He clocked over world's richest man, or world richest person.
Look, he had a great year last year.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, 2020 he climbed a fair bit. They all did. Bezos made a lot of money in the pandemic.
How much is he worth now?
So Bezos is worth about, as of the end of last year, he was worth about 184 billion.
Wow.
And so that's
A little bit of change.
little bit of loose change floating around. But yeah, Musk is coming in at 191 as of today or as of yesterday. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of growth since this time last year.
Yeah, so how much has he made in the last year?
I don't know if I know an exact figure, but it
Made over 100 billion.
yeah,
in the last year.
somewhere there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basing it off Bill Gates, which, a lot of the stock standard people know, he's worth 129 billion as of December 14th.
And he held it for a long time.
He held it for a very long time, and then Bezos has held it for a very long time.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, after their divorce settlement, Jeff Bezos' wife in 2020 became the world's richest woman, which is amazing. And she signed up to the Giving Pledge with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and a few of the other billionaires. So she's going to give away most of her...
The Giving Pledge?
Yeah, so the Giving Pledge is started by Bill and Melinda Gates.
Yeah.
And it's the idea to give away pretty much all of your money, billionaires anyway, to sign up, give away pretty much all of your money by the time you die. With the idea of, so Bill Gates is doing obviously lots and lots of stuff around toilets in Africa and sort of
Yeah,
the
more recently, I think he was pretty heavy in the COVID.
Yeah, he gave a lot of money to COVID
vaccinations
vaccinations and COVID research, and he's doing lots of things with the intention of not making money from it. Is basically the idea behind the Giving Pledge. So Warren Buffett is also signed up to that. So, talking about Elon Musk becoming becoming the richest person so fast and making, $100 billion plus in 2020 or in that year. Do you think he'll stay the richest man or the richest person, or do you think it's not sustainable?
Just the speed that he grew that amount of wealth is quite phenomenal. Obviously, 2020 was a bit of a different year compared to others. Would he beat the stage if it wasn't for the big pandemic? Possibly. He might have been further along. He might have been further back. I'm skeptical if he'll stay the richest. I reckon just with Tesla stock, it'll drop at some point. They'll fall behind somewhere. Tesla stock will drop, which is not an issue. They're a public company.
Yeah.
Stock drops all the time.
So that is one thing to say for Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. They don't have their money out in cash. It's not sitting in the actual account. So their net worth is based off the stocks they own in public companies. And so they're fluctuating, I can't remember exact figures, but Bezos lost $8 billion in one day because Amazon stock dropped a year ago. And that, to him it's nothing. $8 billion is nothing. And then the next day he earns $3 billion in a day. But, it's interesting to say, he's become the richest person and then he won't be all of a sudden. You're like, how does that work? That's because it's based off the stock prices that they own. But sorry, you were saying about sort of sustainability of that.
Yeah, look, if I was gonna kind of make a prediction, which I know is always a bit here and there, but I think Jeff Bezos still has the sustainable growth.
He was a lot slower.
Yeah, a lot slower. I think a lot more methodical. I'm sure all of you followers of Elon Musk out there know that he's quite unpredictable.
Oh yeah.
He's gotten better, but he's still got a long way to go. Maybe not quite as much as Donald Trump, but we won't go there.
Oh dear.
But
I was hoping to keep away from that in 2021, but now it's up.
yes. Anyway, Elon Musk. So yeah, I think Jeff Bezos is going to have the sustainable growth. Amazon's got so much more room to grow, and so has Tesla.
Yeah.
I just think Tesla's got a few more downfalls to kind of naturally hit as any progression of any big company. They've got a few more hiccups to kind of overcome before they settle into a more mainstream income.
It's interesting that Amazon is, quite a lot older as a company than both SpaceX and Tesla, his two main companies.
Yeah, Amazon's 95?
Yeah. 94, 95,
Yeah.
somewhere there. Yeah, I mean, and Tesla's 2008.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not to say that they couldn't have grown to their full capacity already, but it doesn't seem like it.
No.
Because, Amazon's already the biggest retailer. So, they can keep progressing, but they can't they can keep taking market share from other companies, but nowhere near as much as Tesla can.
Yeah.
And SpaceX as well. So, I mean, maybe that suggests that actually, even though it's sort of he's done it quickly and he might drop below maybe possibly both Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos again, it sort of seems like there's still a lot of room for Tesla to grow and take a lot more of the market share than they have already, and Amazon can't as much. Is that sort of fair to say to you?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I kind of, one way to look at it is Amazon's a relatively stable company when you compare it to Tesla.
Yeah.
Even though Tesla's had a lot of success in probably the last 2 years, coming off the end of the Model 3 production at the end of 2016, 2017. There's still a little bit of room in there for them to fail. They could still blow up one day.
Well, especially because some of the other companies, Toyota, Nissan, Volkswagen, they're only just in sort of the last year and a half turning their hand to electric. And so, there has, the Nissan Leaf, that's been there, and there's some BMW, fully electric BMW and Audi out there sort of thing. But, it's not, Toyota hasn't released their electric F-150 yet, which is the most popular car in the US. So, it's most popular. I think it's the most popular car, actually. It's definitely the most popular truck.
Yeah, it wouldn't be far off.
I'm pretty sure it's the most popular car overall, but it sort of seems like, Tesla is going very, very well, but I will be very interested in 2022, 2023, 2024, when, these other big companies start pushing out their electric versions of their car, or completely new cars electric. People start going, okay, I love this Toyota brand. Why wouldn't I love their electric car? Yeah, Tesla's got all this hype around them. That's amazing, but I want the safe bet, or
exactly.
Older manufacturers, and just personal preference. I've always bought Toyotas or whatever, so I'm just always going to, sort of thing. And so that might come into it, like you say, they could burn and die. But I think the amount of money that Elon's got, even if Tesla crashes or just drops and or just hits a level where they just they're producing and they're still in the mix, but they just aren't climbing any bigger. He'll invest in something else, and he'll keep investing in SpaceX, and he'll
he's a man of ideas. There's probably a dozen other billion-dollar ideas in his head that he just hasn't got the time to invest in.
I think especially around space and space exploration, space engineering, asteroid
boring
mining.
company. He could ramp that up if he wanted to.
Yeah.
You got
Neuralink,
yeah.
list goes on. Which we have talked about a few of them. If you are unfamiliar with those companies and products, head back to some of our early episodes last year where we talked about mainly Neuralink, but we did touch on Boron Company for a bit.
Yes, 2021.
Yeah, 2021. Like we said in sort of the first episode of this year, big year last year, and did some big things and saw some pretty cool tech. And I was surprised and glad that tech didn't come to a stop last year. I'm not surprised. It's sort of, I think it could have easily, and everyone would have gone, that's fair, but it absolutely didn't. You know, the iPhone's still released, the Samsung's still released, the Fold 2 released. Nothing stopped. And, CES, which is the biggest trade show for tech, is still going ahead in 2021. It is going online, which opinions of CES? Opinions of online CES. What do you think? Is it going to flop? Is it going to succeed?
I think a lot of the hype is around it being there in person. Like, you can go on YouTube and search up your favourite YouTuber, and they've got great videos on tech. It's being there in person and getting that first hands-on look at the latest and greatest in tech. Like, I wouldn't, if it was free, yeah, I'd go. I'm sure every man and his dog would go, but if they're going to be charging the same steep prices,
yeah, for tickets,
yeah, like it's not. I know tech's not meant to be tangible, but it is nice to be able to get your greasy hands on that new tech.
Well, yeah. So I presume I haven't really looked at it. I'm not sure they've even announced it, but I presume they'll be doing something around similar to Zoom.
Yeah.
Built by themselves, an online AV platform, audio video platform. That has breakout rooms possibly that you can go and talk to Samsung, go talk to Bosch, go talk to Boston Dynamics, go talk to in each of those rooms. And I think there is a little bit of that just walking up to a booth that they're going to try and replicate. But you can walk up to a booth and it can be super loud and crowded and you can just overhear someone else's conversation. And you can do that in a Zoom meeting or a whatever technology they use, but I just don't think... I think you take the tangible touching and the asking questions while you're using it. Like, you walk into JB Hi-Fi and you don't own the phone, yet you still pick it up and flick around it and go, oh, that's kind of cool, and put it back down. You can't get that experience by going on the JB Hi-Fi website and scrolling through the images. It's not the same thing. So I think it's... I know why they're doing it, because, the amount of people it brings in, the amount of, hype and the amount of just tech that these companies have been working on, they need a place to release it. But I think it's interesting that it's not just either being pushed back to later in the year or cancelled altogether for one year.
Yeah.
What also comes into that a little bit is Samsung and Google used to, mainly those two, and other companies as well, Razer and stuff for their phones, used to release everything at CES. That was the place, and they are still there, but that was the place where
it gets announced.
Yeah, that's where it gets announced. And Apple always had their, Apple One events, and then they went to WWDC and they have their keynotes and all this sort of thing. And in the last 3 years, sort of Samsung and Google especially have been coming over to that way of releasing with a private event, sort of thing. OnePlus is the same. Razer for their new Razer phone did that. And so it's sort of more that niche tech that's in CES.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not as big a deal because, people who are seriously into the tech still will watch it because it's that niche. And I think Samsung and Google are probably really happy that they did that a few years ago so that they don't have to rely on CES to release these things and in-person release these things. They can do it at a keynote like they did in 2020, an online keynote or whatever. But just talking about Samsung, new Samsung phones coming early this year.
I think the middle of February. Yeah.
So that'll be the Galaxy S21, S30, What are we thinking? Names?
No idea.
Something around
I,
there.
I haven't had a massive look at their rumours. I just know they're going to release it early this year.
Yeah.
I wonder if everyone else will follow suit.
I can't see Apple doing it because
They're pretty stuck
they
in there.
almost don't care what happens in the world, what every other tech company doing. They just put their date here and other companies move around them. Like I remember last year, I think, they picked a date, they put it on it, and it happened to be on the same date that OnePlus was releasing their OnePlus 8T and OnePlus 8 phones, and OnePlus 8 moved because they didn't want to be overshadowed by Apple.
Yeah, of course.
That is just the stature that Apple holds in the tech.
Apple's not moving their date for a tiny OnePlus company.
Exactly, even though they're like quite large these days. It's that sort of thing that, you know, Apple just goes, yeah, we're too big. We don't care if you can put your event there. We don't care. No one's going to watch yours if ours is on something. It's a little bit arrogant, but it's very true.
When you hold that much market dominance,
yeah, absolutely.
That's when you want your product release.
Yeah.
And
So what are we thinking about the new Samsung phone? If we forget the Note, forget their top end flagship, what are we looking at release? A new Z Fold and Z Flip?
yeah, the new flips.
The new fold out displays?
Yeah, I don't see it being a big year again.
You don't. So I mean, year one is concept I'm talking folds, foldable devices. Year one concept.
Yeah.
Year two improving concept. Mm-hmm. You don't think year three is bringing price down?
Yeah, they might bring it down a little bit. I think it's still
the tech isn't still.
Yeah, I don't think enough people have them in their hands. And I guess that's the point of bringing down the price, but I don't think they can bring it down in price enough yet.
So I guess it's got to be almost like, because when you're standing there looking at, you know, the Note or the Galaxy S21, S30, and you're standing there holding the Z Fold, Z Flip 3. If it's not coming in a close enough price range that you go, okay, bigger screen, yep, that's why it's that, you know, $300 more. Okay, yep, has the Fold tech, I understand that, $200 there. You know, I think there's a natural price that you go, yeah, it's got to be more expensive because it is a bigger screen. It is two screens. It is but it can't be so far away that you go, I know the R&D must be expensive, but it can't be $1,000 more expensive, surely. Even though it might be.
I think it has to come in within $300 of the top tier phone.
Yeah.
Unless it can totally replace a tablet.
Okay.
If they can sell that a flip phone can replace your phone and your tablet,
then
there's a pretty good cause there. Because it's okay, you know, if I spend $900 on a phone, maybe $1,000 again, $800 on a tablet.
Yeah, and you sit, or you know, $1,200 on a phone, $1,000 on a tablet, and you're sitting there looking at a $1,500. $300 foldable.
And it's one less device to carry. You have to worry about, your files on this, or your files on that.
But if they shot themselves in the foot, do you think, by saying your laptop is also a tablet? A little bit? With the whole, like, fold back on themselves and detachable keyboards? Yeah,
a little bit. I don't think a foldable phone's going to replace a foldable... a 3-in-1 laptop.
Yeah, okay.
They're still way too far apart. Like, you're not going to be sitting there at your desk typing away on your phone. But, you know, you might do some casual work on your foldable phone. You might do content consumption.
Yeah, taking some small notes in a lecture. Yeah. Writing down what your boss says to do when you get home.
Kind of what the Note is trying to be.
Yeah, maybe that... I was thinking that with the S Pen starts coming in and scribbling notes down. So... Apart from foldable side, might be coming down this year. If not, probably again just another year of cool tech, improve the screen quality, improve the hinge, you know, all that, and the fanboys will buy that, but leave it for them. In terms of Note and Galaxy, what are we thinking? Just general refresh?
Yeah,
better cameras.
I haven't looked at any rumours, so I'm just kind of going off what I think. I don't think it's going to be a big year. I think it's just going to be some incremental updates.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to see anything too...
That slab of glass is still a slab of glass.
Slab of glass. They'll still have the ports. They'll still have...
Reverse wireless charging.
The camera will get an upgrade, and they'll get up on stage and say some
Stuff
magical words and try and convince you to
their magic.
slap over your hard-earned money. But I think it'll just be a little upgrade.
And same with the Note. I think the Note last year was not great because the Note Ultra, the big one, was this amazing, beautiful phone, 120 hertz glass. But then the other one was plastic, and it was such a flop. I don't know if anyone hasn't seen it. Go watch MKBHD's video on it and the smartphone awards, because he gives it the biggest flop of 2020.
Especially the Note. Like traditionally, the Note was the bee's knees, the
balls to the wall,
bleeding edge tech of Samsung. They put everything into it. They didn't care about price, and it's kind of nowadays gotten a bit softer and evolved more into like, it's a Galaxy, but we've got a bit more features so we can charge you a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, incremental. So, other Androids coming out. We're thinking.
Hopefully, Pixel comes out with a better phone. The Pixel 5 was such a
although I think they're just hitting that mid-tier, cheap plastic back, because they just weren't keeping up. And I think maybe that was their 1 year to go, okay, we're slowing down. Next, we've put a lot of R&D into the Pixel 6, and maybe that's their next break into the top end. But I don't know. The Pixel 4 just wasn't. It just wasn't enough for the same price of a Samsung on an iPhone.
Yeah, I think it really had the potential to, because I knew a lot of people that were pretty die-hard Pixel fans. They're like, yep, bought a Pixel, never looking back.
Yeah.
It's slick, clean Android. It's what Android's meant to be.
Oh, absolutely. It's the iPhone equivalent of the Android.
Yeah.
It's the full stack built by one company.
And I think Google's sort of let them down a little bit, or Google's doing what Google does and brings in amazing tech and kind of goes, oh yeah, by the way, we're killing it next year. Yep,
I can see that. Yeah, look, we're gonna have to wait for that. I would hope that well, maybe not. Maybe it is just the Android phone that's meant to be the Android phone, but the point in Android, it is cheaper than iPhone, and so actually it's the correct phone for Android.
Yeah, I just hope they build and they pretty much have. The Pixel 5 was still a good phone. Everyone ramped on about the processor, and I think the battery as well.
Yeah, and it had the amazing camera, but it didn't really just keep building like the Samsung stuff do.
I think they just need to just build a really good flat Android phone, just a really solid phone.
Yeah.
That's not Samsung.
Okay, so and then also Surface Duo from Microsoft.
Yeah.
Second one of those.
Yeah, second one of those.
That'll be interesting. Maybe a back camera, maybe possibly not though. Better front-facing camera. So
you reckon it'll?
I think they definitely have to upgrade the front-facing camera if you're going to use it as the back. They've got to go up in megapixels. They're going to go up in quality. Again, I understand it's not for taking photos of apart from maybe a whiteboard for productivity.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to sell it as a phone, if you're trying to make it that that's the only thing people have in their pocket, even if you go, you're a business person, productivity, they still want to go for a hike on the weekend and take a beautiful photo of a landscape.
Yeah.
They still want to take photos of their kids at their formal. It's still the only phone in your pocket, so you have to tick off some of those minimum phone requirements.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. It just needs to be better. I guess it's just generation 1, so generation 2 is always improvement.
Yeah.
OnePlus, they'll bring out a new one. Razer, they'll bring out a new one. ROG Phone 3 will bring out a new one. Some big stuff happening.
Big stuff.
I think 2021 will be a big push, because I think there'll be some things that they had in the companies had in the pipelines for 2020 that they went, ooh, we're still going to release a phone. We're still going to be in the mix, but this isn't the year for this phone. I think that'll
I've got
out
one
this
that's
year.
not exactly tech,
Yeah.
but cinemas and online streaming.
So yeah, do we do a whole episode on this? We'll touch
I
on it.
reckon there is a whole episode in there, but I wouldn't mind just getting your quick
So
1 minute opinion.
I think Disney has had a few attempts. So with one of their movies they released this year, they made it paid on Disney Plus. So you
Yeah.
pay for the subscription and then pay $14 to day one, 2 weeks later or whatever it came out on Disney Plus for anyone.
Yeah, okay.
They just released the new Pixar movie Souls.
Yeah. Same deal?
Oh, so Soul? No, that is just released on thing. That is just released on Disney. If you own Disney, you can see it.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't think you could see it. Like, you can't just pay to watch that movie. You have to have the subscription.
Right, okay.
But they're just having a go, seeing what sticks. And if one of these, like, if they maybe not increase in viewers, but increase in views, sort of thing, and they go, we're not that far off how much we were making in the box office in this first week, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I could very easily see Disney not putting out movies in the cinema because they control the pipeline.
Yeah, yeah.
They control how long it's in the cinema, and I don't know the rules around how much influence Disney has in how long it's in cinema. I'm sure they do, and I'm sure they have price setting, and I'm sure they have seat number setting
yeah.
and all this sort of. I'm sure they do, but they still don't own the cinema. Whereas they don't own the television, but they own the picture behind the television
Yeah, exactly.
in your house. Sure, you can have 30 mates over to watch one movie and one person has a Disney Plus, or you can give your Disney Plus to other people. But I don't know. I think it's a similar argument to the Pixel. It's you own the entire pipeline. You own the production. You own the platform it's going on, and you own when it goes and how long.
Yeah, yeah.
It seems to me
Cut the middleman out.
Yeah, I mean, other companies who don't own, Warner Brothers, who don't own streaming sites. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think 2020, although, I don't know, I think there also will be a big surge to go back to the cinema because we haven't been able to do it. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's this big surge at the start or end of the pandemic, whenever that is.
Yeah.
Big surge, and then it just goes, oh, that was fun, but actually I didn't really mind that much not going to the cinema, and it will just drop away all of a sudden.
Yeah, it depends how much society... of course, this will probably differ a lot, country to country, but how much I value that experience of going to the cinemas and overpaying for your popcorn.
Oh, absolutely,
and
but,
watching through the commercials.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, it's a classic date place.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near as romantic to say, hey, come back to my place and let's Netflix and chill, because everyone knows what that means. But it's quite romantic to say, let's go out for dinner and then catch a movie. I think it's a big cultural shift, like you say, if that goes away. And I think it is a bit sad if you can't, what should we do tonight? I don't know. Do you want to catch a movie? Yeah, all right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's quite an ingrained thing, I think, in our culture anyway, in Australia and in the US and stuff as well. Yeah, look, I maybe have to do a whole episode on that.
Yeah,
and
I
talking
think there's
Disney.
some good stuff in there.
We might put out an episode on that in a few weeks. Back to the big tech. I mean, of course, Apple. They're going to be putting out a phone this year.
Yeah.
There's been some news around this.
There has been some news around this.
What's Apple been approved for or been doing?
So apparently, for all you people that have been living under a rock, apparently Apple is in the mid to semi-final stages of their product testing of 2 foldable phones.
Right.
Yes.
I don't think anyone's surprised that they have one in the pipeline.
I would be surprised if anyone is surprised.
Me too. But, I mean, it doesn't mean it's coming.
No.
That does not. I'm sure there are many, many things that Apple has in the pipeline, has working prototype for, has final prototypes for. Apple Car.
Oh, yeah.
Might get back to that in a minute. That's one of them, though.
Yeah.
What do you think? So there's 2 because one of them opens like a book, folding open like a book, and the other one's more like an original clamshell flip phone.
Yes, yeah. And apparently they're only going to be releasing one. Keep in mind these are rumours and are subject to change.
So I think, if they come out this year, which I'll be Maybe they will. I don't think it can be. I think they still have to have the iPhone for at least a couple of years. So what do they market it as? It's not. I think they'll bring out the clamshell one personally, because they've got the iPad. They don't want to encroach into their iPad. It's already a murky line between the iPad and the iPhone.
Very murky.
I mean, it's becoming less murky because they've brought out iPadOS, but it's also getting more murky because now iPhone, iPad, and apps can run on Mac because of the M1 chip.
Yeah.
Get back to the M1 chip in a minute. But you can't blur that line too much. Well, I don't think Apple wants to, because then you become the 2-in-1, which they don't want, because they don't want a touchscreen Mac. They don't want to blur the line between iPad and Mac.
Yeah.
They want to keep that very nice. They also don't want to blur the line, and I think the iPad mini does this a bit, but blur the line between the iPhone and the iPad. The mini is close, but you still can't do those calling things. So if you book style it, and your iPad, if your foldable iPhone is essentially the same size as an iPad mini, and then the iPad mini is essentially an iPad, you can't have all three.
Yeah.
And you don't really want even all two.
I think it depends on what the industry is doing as well, because, you know, they are a big company and it would take a lot for them to fall. But if they go, no, we're not murking the waters,
We're just having a new product.
we're just keeping everything individualized, and the rest of the market goes, you know what, we're bringing it all into one device like iPhone did. Apple could get left behind. It's unlikely.
That's
but,
true.
It depends on the way the market wants to go. If the market goes, you know what, we're bringing it all into a foldable device, then as a business you go, well,
I guess
that's just where we have to go. We've got to find other ways to make money. Yeah. I think that day's a long way away.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still a few years off. And I think, although Apple is never really the company to bring out both like Samsung is and just see which one works. They do a lot of product testing, they do a lot of market research, and then they go, this is what we're doing. And I think...
And they're very stubborn about it.
They are extremely stubborn about it, which is what I love about them. No, I don't. But they're extraordinarily stubborn about it. But I think if they're going to do it, I reckon, my prediction, this year, they get rid of the Lightning port completely. No port, portless, MagSafe. They've already patented that. They own that. They're making money off that. Next year, foldable. The specs don't really increase inside. Maybe the processor gets better. Generally, the cameras stay about the same.
Yeah.
Foldable.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're going to release a foldable phone online. They would want everybody in that Steve Jobs.
Oh yes. I mean, maybe they knock it down. So you bring what was the Pro to the 12 level, or this year's 13, and then you bring out a new Pro that's foldable. Yeah. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe that's the difference.
They would want everyone in that room when they release it. So I think you're pretty close to the money. I reckon next year it will be the earliest it will see a foldable Apple device.
Again, I think that might be an episode in itself, talking devices. Another thing from Apple coming this year will be the next generation of their chips for their
chips.
For their M2 chips, M1 Pro chips, more devices.
M1 Pro Max chips.
They do go that way a little bit. Yeah. Starting to come into 16-inch MacBook Pros, starting to come into iMacs, maybe iMac Pros. So they say within 2 years of whenever they put out their first one, which was end of last year, November last year. There'll be, so not this November, the November after, every Mac device coming out will be Apple Silicon.
Right, yep. Okay.
So, if you look at that timeline, that means this year is probably everything up to the iMac Pro.
Yeah.
So that's everything but the iMac Pro and the Mac Pro. Year after, iMac Pro, Mac Pro.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you haven't seen about the M1 chips, go have a look at M1 chips. They are incredible. They're currently in the Mac Mini, the MacBook Pro 13-inch, and the MacBook Air. MacBook Air, no fan. And it's taking the world by it is beating out, you know, the 16-inch MacBook Pro. It's beating out the iMac in render times.
It's beating
and
out most
fanless.
Windows devices.
It's beating out. Yeah, it's just it's. I don't think Windows was quite ready for it.
If I was AMD or if I was Intel, I'd be pretty embarrassed.
Well, they're I don't know. Okay, I've thought about this for a while. AMD is going gangbusters at the moment, right? They're putting out chips. They're putting out graphics cards that are linking together and doing all these cool things. They're just blowing up and they're cheap. Intel had Apple and now they don't. They can't crack the 10 nanometer, which Apple is now on 5 nanometer for their chips.
Yeah.
I just think they're relying on the fact that they have followers. And that's great, but if you're thinking, well, Apple is already dropping them, so there's a massive section that they're losing, just all in one go. It's not even like, oh, if you're an Apple user, you choose which one. No. If you're an Apple user, you have M1 from now on.
Yeah.
You know, there's no point buying a non-M1 chip from now on. I think if you're sitting there as a PC builder going, should I buy this $125 AMD chip or this $395 compatible or even worse Intel chip? I mean, seriously, like, what's their leg to stand on?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, Intel's still better at some things than AMD, but AMD is just making bounds and strides. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Intel goes the same way as Motorola and a few of those other big phone manufacturers. They kind of get a bit too cocky. They're like, no, we've got this massive fan following. We'll be fine. The tech will follow up. And it doesn't. And then eventually the company just kind of falls into history.
Yeah, or maybe scoots into the corporate world.
Yeah, I think they'll probably go deeper into the corporate world. They can't really go mobile because Snapdragon's just got...
Apple
and
has their own
it's
chips.
Apple and Snapdragon.
Yeah.
Intel's kind of just laughed out of town.
Well, yeah, they just can't keep up. The research isn't there.
Yeah, they're too far behind the game now.
I think that's a good point. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think that's far off, though. I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 years, when Apple stops helping them, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know how much of Intel Apple buys or how much they, you know, but it's a lot. Yeah.
I think Intel still exists as a company.
Yeah.
I think they'll just maybe pivot. Yep. Good old pivoting.
Normally that's towards the start of your company, is pivoting, but who knows?
Sure, when you've been around for 50 years, you can still pivot.
You can still pivot.
Teach old dog new tricks.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yep, so that's M1, that's very exciting, or M2, or whatever they'll be this year. Apple Car, we have to touch on it, might do a whole episode on it.
I'll give you a few minutes, off you go.
Okay, so there's been some rumours, this is the lowdown, there've been some rumours for a long time now.
No way, no. What?
has had a car coming out. They hired a lot of Tesla employees, they fired a lot of Tesla employees, now they're rehiring a lot of Tesla employees. It seemed like for a while there that they weren't going to do it, they couldn't make it work, but then there are now more rumours coming out, and there's been some code leaks, and there's been some things. It seems a big jump. It seems a very large jump from a very small handheld iPhone, or even a liftable Mac Pro, to a car.
I mean, the closest they've come to producing a car is their MacBook with wheels.
So
they've got a long way to go.
Mac Pro with wheels. So, yeah, I mean, look, they've got the wheels down pat.
Yeah.
They've nailed the wheels.
Is the grill of the car going to be a cheese grater?
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to be, surely. And look, if the wheels... Well, this, you know, if the wheels for the Mac Pro are $700
Oh
US,
my gosh.
I mean, you're talking a few mil a wheel at this point, sort of thing. But I think... Maybe maybe they're working on the software for a car, so they're not producing they're partnering up with Rivian, they're partnering up with Elon, they're partnering up with someone who's building the car for them, and they're putting out the software and the software experience and the driverless and the thing. I could see that, and then possibly even licensing that software to Toyota to use
Yeah.
in their upcoming electric cars. You know, they have the iPad already. Slap that. That's your head unit kind of thing. You can see the natural progression of where it's going.
Yeah.
They're not a car manufacturer. I mean,
as we've seen from Tesla, you know, the biggest car company to succeed in probably the last 50 years. Don't quote me on that one, but it is hard cars are hard. Cars are
very hard.
really, really hard.
To be honest, maybe it's easiest at the moment because the market's so shaking up.
Yeah.
So maybe, and look, Apple's got a lot of money. Apple's got a lot of money to throw at it.
Yeah.
So, you know, R&D money is not there. It's not going to hold them back.
No.
I think it's more, can they perfect it? Can they get the manufacturing down? I just don't think they're going to produce the actual car. I think they'll produce the software. I think they'll put an iPad in it. I think they'll give the manufacturer, if they pick, the devices and the chipset and the brains of the car. I don't think they're going to build the chassis and the wheels and the roof and the windscreen.
Yeah,
I think they look at a car as... I think the idea of the car is changing from the steering wheel, the pedals and the chassis and the engine to a completely different thing because of the electric industry, the electric car industry.
Yeah,
the car is now the software and the driverless experience and the you know.
I agree. I don't think they'll come out with a car company. I think you'll be able to go and buy an Apple car for the foreseeable future. I think it'll probably be something similar, or they'll come out with... I don't know. They'll come out with something in between, like you said.
Some of a car.
Some of a car.
The motor and the batteries and the software and then the iPad and the steering wheel, and then they kind of give that to someone to put together in their car.
Yeah,
Some manufacturer.
I don't think it'll be a complete car just yet. I think it'll eventually grow into a car.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a pretty good prediction.
Yeah, because you can't. The scale that to manufacture a car, the scale that they would
Scale
have to
of production.
the scale of production, and the manufacturers that have to be sourcing, that obviously have to have a plant somewhere. There's not enough talk.
I've heard Elon Musk has got a few plants that they might be able to rent some space. He's got a couple on the go.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
I think the amount of talking they'd have to be doing with other industries that aren't really in their control, I think you'd probably have a bit more chatter.
Yeah, the rumours would be more than rumours.
Yeah, it's either a very long way down the track, or it's not a complete car.
That's what I was going next. Timeline. If I was a betting man, it's not coming out in 2021.
No, it's gonna be the roadster of Apple.
I would be surprised if we see it before 2025. I know there's been chatter for a fair few years now. 16. It sort of started, maybe in 2014. The chatter started around an Apple car. I mean, the chatter's been, there's chatter around everything with Apple, but pretty much since Tesla has been in mainstream, it's like, oh, when's Apple bringing their car out?
Yeah.
It's always been a joke, and then it was, oh, hang on a minute. There's this one employee that Apple just acquired from Tesla. Okay, that could just be because he was doing software for him. Okay, there's a few more employees. Okay, no, that guy was definitely a mechanical engineer. What does Apple need with him? Oh, hang on a minute. No, that's definitely a frictions engineer for road friction and tires. No, wait a minute.
That doesn't fit.
Wait a minute. That does not fit into the Mac Pro's wheels. Usability testing. So I think there is been chatter, but I'm gonna put my money on not in the next 5 years. Not before 2025.
I would be pretty surprised if it was in the next 5 years. I'd be pretty surprised if they partnered up with a manufacturer, like even like Toyota
don't think they'd
Nissan.
put it in there? Or not like Rivian, one of those really alternative electric car companies?
I think they'd do the soft...
Rivian's got very nice... Go check out some Rivians if you haven't anyone. But Rivian's got some nice looking... They've got a Ute and a SUV coming out. But I haven't seen much of their software, and maybe they just haven't talked about it. But I'm not saying they will have it in the first Rivian, but I wouldn't be surprised if they build the sled and the cabin, and Tesla puts and Apple puts the software in it.
Yeah, I think these auto manufacturers are starting to come around to the software side and go, okay, there's a lot of money to be made in this software. And we're not prepared to give that at this early stage in this new era. We're not prepared to hand that over to someone who we know is gonna dominate.
No, I think that's a good point. But also on the other side, it's we've just built this electric car. Oh, that's right, it's not all mechanical. Oh, we need some software to run it. Oh, it needs to be driverless. Oh no, we don't have any software for this. It needs to be out next 6 months.
And Apple, their savior.
Yeah, you know.
Apple,
can we license some software for you? Thank you very much. So like you say, it could go either way, but it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting, and I think there could be some big rumors coming 2021.
Yeah.
Or maybe some like leaked footage and things like this around.
I'll tell you what,
car driving around the streets.
If they're building an electric car, they're doing a damn good job of hiding it.
Oh, aren't they just?
I don't know. That's not like a phone where you can hide it in your pocket.
I don't know where their testing facility is, if they are, but they have a big warehouse somewhere where they're doing very, very big roundabouts. And
Why do you think they build that? Why do you think they build that?
Apple campus that is exactly what it is, isn't it? The bottom of the Apple campus is just one big road, and they just drive their car around it. Look, I would love to be a product tester for Apple, but if I had to drive around the basement of the Apple campus my entire job, you'd get a bit depressed of working for Apple.
Yeah.
Oh dear. If anyone's been interested in anything we've talked about this episode, the billionaires, they're becoming even bigger billionaires.
Yeah.
We'll chuck some links in the description for those, some articles, as well as Samsung releasing and maybe some of the Pixel 5 stuff and some rumors maybe around that. Apple car, we might put a rumors page up, and the foldable. Foldable iPhone will put out a thing. Check out in the show notes.
It's definitely gonna be a big year of tech.
Oh, it's gonna be a big year. Look, we're hoping to be one a week. That's the plan at the moment, and
our New Year's resolution.
That's our New Year's resolution. Look, we are. I get it. We are. A week in, and we have put out. This is our second episode, so
I know.
We're looking forward to seeing you guys next week. We're hoping to put them out on Saturday. Hopefully morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning, midday.
Mid-afternoon by the time it's finished editing. But, hopefully Saturday morning. Keep an eye out. Look, if you guys have any suggestions for when to put it out, if listeners are thinking, as we are starting to go back to work, I want to listen to it Monday morning on the train, I want to listen to it Thursday afternoon here. I mean, you obviously can just go back, but if there was a big increase of, we would love to hear the end of the week for the week's tech that has just happened, or the start of the next week for the previous week, let us know. Let us know your opinions. Check us out on your favourite podcasting app, and check out the links for everything we've talked about today.
And we'll see you all next week.
See you next week, Ben. Talk to you then.
Catch you then.
Catch you, mate.